have. It isn't my favourite bald man apart from Mike Ehrmantraut. I'm so glad he's... For a millisecond there, I thought he was actually dead, but it was actually just further setting up another major, really exciting storyline that brings in Daredevil. So in this video, I'm going to break down this entire episode and talk about what I think is going to happen next. So straight away, we get introduced to this new Fisk. It's still the Fisk we know, but it's like the PS5 version, and the Daredevil one was like the PS4 version. In the way that if you were wondering how someone like Spider-Man could go up against Fisk in Daredevil, this episode gives you that answer. He's really OP now. Fisk's body mass is 2% fat and 98% muscle. So that's how he got shot in the chest with an arrow, then soap opera car crash into a window, then blown up, and then shot in the head and apparently survived it. He's actually just really strong. He wears two iconic comic book outfits in this one episode. This red Hawaiian shirt, for example, is something he famously wore whilst up against Spider-Man, which we're going to get onto a lot later on in the video. But now he's exactly like he was in the comics. Everything he was missing in Daredevil, he now has. In Daredevil, he was always a cockroach in the way that he got out of prison, how he survived all those situations, but now he's literally surviving things that should kill him. We find out that this meeting they're both having is Eleanor saying she wants to quit. She no longer wants to work with or for Fisk, and that's what pushes him. Then we're back with Clint and Kate, and he says to her just before she wants to walk out, "You're my partner. I'm not going anywhere," which I thought was a bit on the nose because 5 minutes ago he was embarrassed of that. He didn't want to be a partner with her because it was too dangerous, but now he wants to, and he won't go back to his family to help her, which I think is great though. The scenes with Yelena and Kate in this episode I thought were really good as well. I didn't think I'd like Yelena that much at all, but I do really like her. I love how seamlessly the Yelena character can go from humorous scenes, joking, all the way to chasing down Clint, and then showing such sadness about it, where she pretty much took all her grief out on him and gets closure, and even that wasn't overdone to where they hugged and joined teams in the end. She just faced it, that she didn't even believe herself that Clint killed her or that her sister sacrificed herself. She acknowledged it, and it was really, really well done. Now, don't tell me the people that made this show didn't know that Spider-Man No Way Home would come out at this exact time and end at the exact same place, and have Clint jump out on this exact tree, and didn't expect that people would think Spider-Man would come in and save him last minute. With the timing of the end of No Way Home and this show being excruciatingly similar, it just feels like such a massive missed opportunity. And I don't like to think worse of this episode because it didn't meet that crazy expectation, but I find it so hard to believe that with all Marvel projects being in communication with each other, each movie and show is like steps along a big path. Each movie and show leads to another, that they wouldn't expect people to think that. It's a really weird way that No Way Home and this show would end. Even when he jumped onto the tree and looked up and realised something, I actually thought that was Spider-Man, but it was an owl. I like owls, but I like Spider-Man saving Hawkeye more. With the tree being destroyed shortly after, we can assume this is after the No Way Home ending. Now, with this being Spider-Man's full-time job now, with him having all eyes on crime in New York City, you would have thought this would be something he'd find out about with all these tracksuits running around and this big shootout. And again, back to that red Hawaiian shirt that Fisk wore in this episode. As an example, he wore this on the front cover of Family Business, where he is versus Spider-Man. It's a weird choice of clothes for Spider-Man not to appear. There's just so many coincidences and conveniences that makes it just a bit disappointing that he wasn't in it.
Where's our backup?
That was a massive missed opportunity for Daredevil as well, and it was those guild idiots. There was a lot of obvious wackiness and humour in this show, and I actually really liked it, until I thought this was Daredevil. I was really disappointed already because there wasn't Spider-Man. I wanted more episodes this season, but coming to think of it, 6 episodes is just enough, because this guild stuff was really about to start to get on my nerves. They both had these really cool scenes throughout this show, but this scene in particular, it was like their own almost mini Avengers Assemble scene. And it's when you see scenes like this where you think, yeah, maybe Spider-Man or Daredevil being in it right now would have taken the spotlight of what the point of the show is. It's to show Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, it's their show. It's introducing them as a duo, it's showing that they can do it. It's meanwhile just set loads of stuff up for Daredevil, Fisk and Echo. And then Maya kills Kazi after Fisk basically turns him against her. She sees that Fisk has taken everything away from her, and her having to kill Kazi is a big part of her story because it's the catalyst of her hate for Fisk. It didn't end in this episode, it actually just started. I thought this was Daredevil 2 until the car door got ripped off. They're really beefing up Fisk. In this one episode, they've just told you how on earth he would go up against any superhero. He survived a lot of stuff that would have killed any other person, because there will be fights with Daredevil and there will be fights with Spider-Man. If you watch Daredevil, how on earth would that man go up against a superhero? Spider-Man would surely just web him up. What we're seeing now, he's almost a reformed version of Kingpin now. We're seeing stuff that he's not done before, so that you could actually believe that he would go up against someone like Spider-Man. In Daredevil, you'd always be scared of Fisk because of how he can manipulate people and use them as puppets, but now you'd also be scared of what he can do to people himself. To me, even that car door head scene, if you know what I'm talking about, isn't that scary at all compared to this, and we're seeing him go through all of this stuff, all this fatal stuff, so that if you did hear Fisk versus Spider-Man, you'd think he'd stand a chance. So, did Fisk survive this headshot? 99% sure, yeah, he did. First of all, the obvious thing, if you're going to kill a big character, you don't do it off screen. This is showing that anything could have happened. It might have not even been a direct hit into the head. He could have moved the gun out of the way. She could have shot somewhere else. For all we know, Daredevil himself could have moved the gun. The truth is, this is all setting up a big storyline with Daredevil himself. We know he was in No Way Home. This happened in the comics. She shot him in the head, and he was blind for a bit after. He had eye surgery, and he could see again. Even though it was likely something to do with his brain, he was blind, had eye surgery, and could see again. That's what this is. Just before she shot him, he said sometimes family doesn't see eye to eye, because he's about to lose his eyes for a bit. After this, it's all about Echo and Daredevil. Even though at this point they've already met. It was remixed in the show with Ronan, where Kingpin blamed him for her dad's death. In the comics it was Daredevil. Even though as far as we know, Echo doesn't know who Daredevil is, they're going to meet and have a lot of their comic storyline. It was announced Echo is going to have her own Disney Plus show, and in the upcoming She-Hulk, Matthew Murdock is to have a big supporting role in that, let alone Echo and the future shows that are announced. He's going to have more than a cameo. That's a full supporting role. That's why we even saw him in No Way Home. That's why Kevin Feige made sure to announce that he was the Daredevil MCU. Fisk won't die from this, but Mayor will want to hunt him down, and that's where Daredevil's part is going to be played, in stopping her. We know he doesn't like killing. If there has been some kind of soft reboot where the Netflix Daredevil episodes never happened, or they just don't talk about them, which I think is unlikely, I think that would be stupid, then Fisk even being out of prison is a big deal, and something that Matthew Murdock would have had to deal with. After the season 3 finale, why isn't he trying to stop him right now? There's so much to come of Daredevil. All of this is teasing that. Then at the end of the episode, Clint returns home and brings Kate with him, which I think is really cool. Obviously her mum's in jail now, and he did it. He got back home for Christmas, which I think is a good ending. I think it was way too light-hearted for it to be dark, where he didn't get back home. I think at darkest there would have been a cliffhanger. He then burns the Ronin outfit, and I think it was just such a great ending to this little mini-series. I like to see it as a mini-series, but there could be a season 2, but I just think these 6 episodes alone have been so good. Some shows have loads of episodes in a season, and it can leave some episodes where there's nothing happening in it. With 6 episodes, each one has been really good, and I can look back at it as a near perfect show. I think there should be a season 2, even though I think Kate already has been introduced well enough to be some movie character without needing another season. I feel like the whole purpose of this show was to introduce Clint and Kate as a duo, and he's already done it really well. And yeah, I might have watched that whole musical at the end thinking there was going to be an end credit scene or secret. Fucking disappointed. I sat through that whole thing. They said Merry Christmas from Marvel and gave us that like a gift. The musical itself was a parody to shoving Clint's face, to obnoxiously over-glamorize it to him. I don't know why that was seen as some serious gift. It would have been a serious gift if Spider-Man was in it, or Matt Murdock appearing as Jack's lawyer, but I'll take this literal musical over that then, I guess. Overall, I really liked Hawkeye. I thought it was a great show. I hope there's a season 2, but I wouldn't mind because they've already introduced them both as a good duo. I loved it as this little Christmas show, but what do you think? Do you like it? Do you want to see a season 2? Or what are you looking forward to seeing from Daredevil now? What do you think is going to happen next? Make sure you let me know down below in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, then make sure you press the like button. It helps me out and we'll get this video seen by more people. And if you did enjoy it, check out my other videos. There will be a suggestion on the top right of your screen right about now. My video for No Way Home will be out tomorrow, so look out for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.